what happens is you have this idea and you figure it's the best idea in the world. And you figure, well, since you think it's the best idea in the world, everybody else will think it's the best idea in the world. Everybody else will part with their hard-earned money for your best idea. And you would do this thing, which is always going to be easy. And then you'll sell it, which is always going to be easy too. And everything will be great. But it really doesn't work that way. And so you have to be able to press past the obstacles that come in the way of actually getting that done. When you first discover that doing the thing is really not as easy as you thought. So you have to persevere through that. And then you discover that selling it is nowhere near as easy as you thought it would be. And you have to persevere through doing that. And you have to keep doing it and keep doing it and grow and so on. And managing growth is another huge challenge. One of the big ways that we have been doing that Teleios is like about 40 people now, is we build our leaders. So everybody that comes into Teleios is empowered. People have a lot of freedom in that regard. They have a lot of boundaries as well, but they have a lot of freedom, sort of enabling kind of freedom. And we empower our leaders to be able to continue to empower the people underneath them. And then those people are taught to empower people who might be underneath them and so on. So basically, we imagine growth a lot by accurate empowerment of leadership. We spend huge amount of time in defining, building, implementing and managing culture. So culture is a big thing in Teleios. It's very, very deliberate. So a lot of the things that you see has been deliberately built, and those are things that we do to help manage the growth. And 5 years is a really long time in our business. Technology, mobile, internet, those things, really long time. But you have to always be thinking about things down the road, and then working out how are you moving from here to there to there. So all those are big challenges in terms of managing growth. I am big on empowerment. So the people who, the senior leadership team that ends up that reports to me, they basically know what they need to do and are given a chance and opportunity to do it. So we're very open and very flexible in that regard. There are specific strategic objectives that we set, and we are working out well inside of those strategic objectives. What's the day-to-day operation inside of there that gets you from one point to the next? And a big part of the leadership style is providing that vision, that understanding of the destination, the why of it, and very importantly, the how. The how is not a technical how. It's not like I'm saying, well, I want you to write the code this way, or I want you to implement a HR system this way. That's not so much the how, but the how that we really have we focus on is the how of the culture that is Teleios. So if you are doing something, whatever it is that you're doing, whether you're building out the messaging platform, whether you're working on some web application, whether you're dealing with some project management thing, there's a cultural consistency that must be there. And so the leaders have to make sure that cultural consistency remains. Many times we might have some idea, and you're fixated on this idea, and you want to execute on this idea, and you don't want anything to stop you from executing on this idea. And lots of times it's the wrong idea, was the wrong time, was the wrong way of you're trying to go about doing it, because the world is not configured to you, right? So so having this idea or this initiative or whatever it is great, but it's how do you treat with that, and how do you execute on that inside of a world that's larger than you, than your own personal, this is my desire, I want to get this thing done. And so that was a big learning thing for me. There really is no way to know. You know, it's not like you can't, you know, it's not like some book you're going to go and look up and say, right, this is the right this is the right time. It doesn't work that way. What we tend to do is we talk about it a lot. We talk about the stuff that we're thinking about a lot. Coming out of a lot of those conversations, you get clarity, you get perspective, and we're big on perspective because, you know, by default, you're only going to see, there's only so much you can see by yourself. I don't think anybody could argue that. There's only so much you're going to see by yourself alone. But when you bring other people in, people of like mind, people who you connect with, people who have a different perspective, even though you're connected, you know, so like, you know, any team will have people who have strengths and so on. And when you, different strengths, and when you combine those things together, it's sort of like you get a much wider vista of sight. You know, so whereas I might have been seeing this particular segment, you might be seeing this particular segment. Somebody else will be seeing this particular segment, but nobody has a full picture of this whole thing. But a sort of conversations, particular types of conversations, questions, considerations, then starts to bring those things to intersect, and then you kind of say, right, that's making sense. I didn't really think about that way, or now that you say that, right, what I was thinking about doesn't make sense because such and such and such, and you have to be willing to do that. The truth is, when we hire people, I'm not overly interested in first class and honors and all those kinds of things. I really am not. I want to understand your passion, your commitment. A commitment to me, you know, to Teleios, be a commitment to this thing that you say you're going to do or you want to do. What is that commitment? So if you could go through all of school, all of your university life, and not work on a single individual or a single project that has nothing to do with some course material that you do, you're probably not going to end up here. Because we are very good at writing exams. I just don't know that there's an industry for that. Exam writing industry, I don't know. Yeah, in university and stuff, it's supposed to be a place about learning, discovery, gaining knowledge, gaining understanding. So I want to see people coming out of that environment who kind of have that orientation. And well, certainly one of the ways that I look to find that out is by asking, well, tell me about the things that you have done. Right? Tell me about, you know, code that you wrote that wasn't connected to some project that you're getting a grade on. Because you just wanted to find out how a thing would. Tell me about something that you